Good morning. Welcome back to the e-learning platform of the GS College of Commerce, Varda. In the previous lectures, we have seen the money market, which is basically our third unit, first chapter. Now, under the third unit, monetary economics, third unit, we are having the second and important chapter, that is the monetary policy and the fiscal policy. This is one of the important topic, as I told earlier, because the marks weightage is only divided into the two chapters, that is the money market and the monetary and fiscal policy. So from examination point of view, this is one of the important topic. Let's see what this topic says. Monetary policy and the fiscal policy. Why is it needed? What is basically the purpose? See, when we talk about the monetary policy, the policy which is related with the money. We have seen the inflation, we have seen the deflation, and at the same time we have seen the quantity theory of money. What the quantity theory of money says, you know better, which I explained in the earlier video. See, inflation arises because of the more money supply. What is basically the effect of inflation? The effect of the inflation is that basically when there is a more money supply in the economy, it actually increases the price level, and as a result of the higher price level, general price level, when it increases, the commodity which is available at present at a lower price, we have to pay the more price for it. That is referred as inflation. It means that when the inflation develops, the purchasing power of an individual basically decline. Purchasing power of an individual basically increases, but the purchasing power of money has declined. So what actually happens because of that? The saving of an individual decreases. Similarly, deflation, it has the adverse effect as compared to the inflation. Now see, so when there is a more money in the economy, when there is a more credit in the economy, it has the adverse effect. Monetary policy and the fiscal policy basically deals with controlling the money supply in the economy as well as the credit supply. Money supply, what we have seen, higher increase in the money supply results in inflation, decrease in the money supply sometimes result in the deflation. So money and credit, when it is to be controlled, there are the two measures or the two policies which are to be adopted. One is the monetary policy and the other one is the fiscal policy. When we say the monetary policy and the fiscal policy, both these are the policies which are implemented by the government. But when we say the monetary policy, these are the policies which are implemented by the government but with the help of the central bank. So here the central bank, via the bank rate or via the interest rates, basically tries to control the money and the credit in the economy. So when the central bank adopts the measures to control the money supply as well as credit in the economy, that is referred as monetary policy. Whereas when we talk about the fiscal policy, the policies which are implemented by the government, and these policies are actually via the taxes, via the public revenue and the public expenditures. Via the public revenue and the public expenditures, when the government controls money and the credit, that is actually called the fiscal policy. So somehow the monetary policy as well as the fiscal policy, the objectives of both these policies are the same. What are the objectives? That is the neutrality of money, the price stability, this is one of the important objectives. Similarly, the exchange rate stability, the full employment condition in the economy as well as the economic growth. So the monetary policy also have these objectives in mind. Similarly, the fiscal policy also have these objectives. So the policy is whether the monetary as well as fiscal, both these policies have the same objectives, but the way of dealing differ. The monetary policy is actually implemented by the government, but these policies are implemented by the government via the central bank. When we talk about the fiscal policy, again this is the policy which is implemented by the government, but here the mode is actually the public revenue and the public expenditures. So see what the monetary policy is. The monetary policy is the attitude or the authority towards the monetary system of the community under the control. So basically what we have to see here, it is a system whereby the authority tries to control the monetary system. The monetary system basically comprised with what? Money as well as the credit. And as I told earlier, both the monetary as well as the fiscal policy, both this policy have the prime objective, and the prime objective is to manage the money supply as well as the credit in the economy. And for that purpose, basically the money policy is implemented. Let's see what are the tools which are implemented here. We will see these tools in detail, but let's have a overlook of it. Monetary policy, the monetary policy is implemented through this monetary policy, as I told you, is implemented by the central bank, whereby the central bank uses the quantitative measures as well as the qualitative measures to control the money supply. When we talk about the quantitative measures, there is a bank rate, open market operations, varying reserve requirement, similarly the repo as well as reverse repo rate, and the qualitative measures which we will see. When we talk about the fiscal policy, as I told, the fiscal policies basically deals with the two aspects. One is what? The public revenue, and the other one is the public expenditures. What is public revenue and public expenditures? When the revenue is gathered by the government, that is called the public revenue. This public revenue is accumulated by the government for what purpose? Basically, this public revenue is again for the welfare of the public or the welfare of the masses, which is basically utilized by the government for the public expenditures. It means the expenditures are made by the government, but for whom? For the public. So public expenditures and the public revenue, why are these? The monetary authority, the government of the country tries to implement the fiscal policy. Public revenue, again the public revenue is of two types. One is the capital revenue, okay. Then we talk about the public expenditures. Public expenditures, again it's of different types which we will see in the detail. Public revenue, again when government accumulates this revenue from where? The government accumulates this revenue from the taxes. Taxes are of two types. One is the indirect tax and the other one is the direct tax. Via the direct as well as indirect taxes, the government accumulates the fund or the government accumulates the revenue. Okay? So revenue receipts and the capital receipts. Via that the government gets the fund, that is the public revenue. Similarly, capital receipts की बात करते हैं तो क्या होता है? Capital receipts की, if we talk about the capital receipts, what does it come? What it includes? It includes the earning from the PSUs. Whatever the PSUs which are run or managed by the government, that is actually the capital revenue. Similarly, the earning which is made by the different governments departments, that come under the capital revenue. So public revenue and the public expenditures, and in general you have heard this, that is the public expenditures, public borrowing, public debts. Public expenditure is what? Basically the government expenditures which are made for the people, for the welfare of the people. These public expenditures are the development public expenditures, non-developmental public expenditures, and other, which we will see in the later part of the chapter. Similarly, public expenditures, public debts. Public debts is what? The government is actually borrowing the money from the public. When the revenue which is accumulated by the government is actually, it's actually this, if we'll say it's not sufficient enough, the government may also resort to borrowing. The government may also resort to borrowing, one of the method of fiscal policy to control the money and the credit. Okay, it's not necessary that the government is having the deficit in the deficit of money. It may be, there may be the deficit or there may not be, but it is that it is one of the tool which is implemented by the government basically to borrow the money from the public for maintaining the money and money supply and the credit in the economy. So the public debts, public borrowing, public expenditures, as I told you earlier, that is the public revenue. There are two types of the receipts. One is the revenue and the capital receipts. When we talk about the revenue receipts, again there is a direct taxes and the indirect taxes. So via the revenue receipts, the government actually gets the two types of the taxes, basically the direct taxes and the indirect taxes. So these are the two main tools which we will classify, that is the public revenue and the public expenditures. So the fiscal policy and the monetary policy, both these are the tools which are implemented by the government and the central bank for maintaining the money supply in the economy as well as the credit. Now see what are the objectives of the monetary policy. The first one over there is a neutrality of money. When we are going to control the money supply, it may have the adverse effect. What type of the adverse effect may be? That is what, if we will restrict the supply of money, there may be the possibility that the output of the country may decline. It will have the effect on the at the same time employment. So neutrality of money, basically this objective suggests that the monetary policy is implemented where the monetary policy, the money supply can be controlled, but at the same time such monetary policy which are controlling the money supply, but at the same time it should not have the adverse effect over the output as well as the employment. So that is the neutrality of the money. The second one is their price stability. Price stability, as I told earlier, why are we doing all these things? We are doing all this basically to maintain the price stability, because the excessive money supply results in the inflation and the lesser money supply results in the deflation, which we have seen in detail in the earlier video. Whatever the effects, these effects are not very comfortable for the economy. So it's very necessary that the price stability should be maintained. Price stability doesn't mean that whatever the price of the goods and service, it should not be fluctuate anyway. It will remain fixed. There may be the fluctuation, or 2 to 4% fluctuation is good for the economy. But what is there? 2 to 4%, 2 to 5%. So there are the different economists which suggest that a little or minor changes in the prices are acceptable and it is good for the economy. So when we are having the objective of price stability, it doesn't mean that you are keeping the price as a fixed and there will not be any change or minor change in the price. So price stability, this objective of the monetary policy ensures that there may be the variation in the prices, but it should not be beyond the limit, because if these price change will be beyond the limit, there will be the repercussions which we will see on the economy. So price stability is one of the second objective of the monetary policy. The third one is there the exchange rate stability. Exchange rate stability. Exchange rate stability, what does it mean basically? When we're talking about the exchange rate, your currency in terms of the other currency. Okay, so when we talk about the exchange rate, if your currency value fluctuates a lot, it has the effect also. What type of the effect you will see? See, if your currency is fluctuating widely, then there may be the confidence level of the other countries may be less. There may be the flight of the capital from your country, domestic country. So it is very important that there should be the price stability in the price stability in the economy. Similarly, there should be the exchange rate stability. This exchange rate stability ensures that one country's currency in terms of the other country's currency, the exchange rate, it should not widely fluctuate. The next one is there full employment. Full employment. Keynes basically was the propounder or supporter of this concept. When we talk about the full employment, what does it mean? Full employment means what? That each and every individual of the country is having the employment. There will be zero unemployment level. It doesn't mean that. Full employment means that there should be the employment level and 3 to 4% unemployment level may prevail in terms of the seasonal as well as frictional employment. So the full employment is good for the economy because it will have the effect on the investment, similarly output, and again the employment. So the full employment is to be achieved via the monetary policy. Okay, so it is again one of the objective. Then the next one is there economic growth. Economic growth, economic development, these are the part and parcel for each and every economy. Every country tries to get the economic growth. There should be the growth in the economy that should be in terms of the certain percentage. Okay, so economic growth is again one of the objective. So when we are talking about the monetary policy basically the policy of the government which are going to be implemented by the central bank via the quantitative measures as well as qualitative measures. Again, there are other measures also. Basic objective of the monetary and the fiscal policy is that the neutrality of money, similarly the price stability, exchange rate stability, full employment condition, as well as the economic growth. So we will see the other aspects related with this chapter in the next video. Thank you.